It's a great honor to be here, sharing our thoughts with an audience like you. I think the room is full of industry veterans and leaders in the space of learning talent. And I have with me a very, very profound panel, those who have very diverse experience. And during my chat with them, I also learned a little more about them in terms of what kind of work they have done. And it's truly inspirational to hear from them. My job is relatively simpler because I only have to ask questions. But I have to ask questions which will evoke responses, I think, which will be beneficial to the audience. I'm a great sports fan, and I always believe and I always look at, learning from a sports analogy. I'm sure all of you love cricket. Yes, is there anybody who is not so fond of cricket here? But India cricket is religion, so I'm sure everybody would know. And, you don't really care, what goes behind in terms of practice. You only look at the game and you look at, whether the game is won or lost and whether the team performed or not. So you're not bothered about what goes behind the scenes. I think the business is like that, Whatever amount of learning investments, L&D investments you do, it actually comes to the performance at the end of the day. So the topic is really, really important. We look at behavior shift, we look at performance, we look at ROI. So I think over the next 30-35 minutes, we are going to debate and deliberate on that subject. Challenges are there, as Bhavna did mention, that L&D leaders face this constant challenge of, where to put the money in and how do we make sure that, our people are future ready. I think more than future ready, we have to look at, how do our colleagues, our employees invest, what they have learned into application of the business and business performance. And I think that's the core of this as you go forward. I think we have spent years on measuring learning, and traditionally we have measured what? Learning man days, right? Learning hours, correct? Attendance, as basic as attendance and all those things. But we really didn't measure, and we looked at it as an HR initiative rather than a business enabling support function. So with that, I will, without further ado on this, I would like to have a question for all the panelists. This chain of, learning to behavior shift to performance actually break in most organizations. I would like to understand, which are the points where this chain actually gets broken. And if we know this, why is it not fixed yet? Is this a design problem? Is it a business alignment issue? Or is it something else? So can we start with Ankit? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Before I take a shot at the question, I just want to get the sense of audience. How many HR, L&D professionals, how many entrepreneurs? HR professionals? People who are into hardcore L&D and entrepreneurs, freelancers. Okay, wonderful. Just for my knowledge, not for your consumption. To take it, I think there is, let's first address the elephant that it is broken. For long, people have obsessed on the glamour of using tech in L&D. Glamorous words like hyper-personalization, all of that, democratization of learning, choice architecture. We lost the art of getting results in the language. So it is broken. We have to see it like that. If anyone has completed the cycle of learning, behavior, performance shift, my congratulations, but it is broken. However, I think the devil lies outside the game. The devil is in the performance development process, and that's my view. The devil is in the performance development process for two reasons. First, sometimes HR professionals want to do something year-on-year basis because unko bhi rating achhi chahiye. So your race to outcome is incomplete because your race actually is going somewhere else. It is towards a reading. Second, people who are receiving the learning interventions, they don't see the causality. So जब if he and I have to work together, जब इसने promote होना है और उस promotion के पीछे का logic भगवान नहीं जानता है, तो फिर मैं सीख के क्या करूं? Fundamentally, when people are unable to connect, when I learn what happens in my life, if they can't answer this in the context, then no one's going to learn because आपको मोक्ष चाहिए. You're not consuming Coursera or any other platform because it offers you nirvana. No, right? Skill has to offer you more money. Money means more progression. If that line is not clear, it stays broken, and hence it has stayed broken.
Okay, those are good thoughts. Just building on that, I was talking to the trainer of my wife is trying to learn driving, so she was talking to her trainer. Okay, how many days will it take and all that, and do you think I'll hit a few cars, etc. on the way? What will happen? Will I hurt people, etc. He asked her, why are you learning driving? Can you clarify that for me, please? She said, no, because all the time whenever we go on long drives, right? My husband says I have to drive. So I want to make sure that I also have a license. Oh wow. Then after that, what will you do? Nothing. I will show him that I have a license. Ma'am, you should take a Uber or Ola. Don't waste your time, right? I think somewhere down the line, no matter what we do as L&D professionals, as HR professionals, as managers, if the person doesn't know what's in it for me and cannot connect with it, it's going to be broken. Because if after everything the person is alone, right? You can teach all the yoga asanas, but the person gets up at 9:30. By then there is no yoga asana to be done, right? But someone who really believes in it, even in the metro, you'll see, yes or no? Yes or no? You've seen those people, no? So you have to get the what's in it for me, right? I think most companies, and I'm not saying we have also got it right, this is the main problem. You're not able to solve what's in it for me. And I think you cannot solve it for everyone. But if you can solve it for majority of the people, I think we can get closer to the solution. Over to you.
Wonderful. I thought I already got my moksha and nirvana. All right, so good morning to everyone. I think it's good afternoon. By the time the mic reached to me, it is already good afternoon. And I would, so the risk of talking at the end is that whatever you thought that you will be speaking are already spoken. So now I'll have to get back to you to give me an answer. Since most of you are from HR and L&D community, so in the last 6 months or 1 year, is there any learning course or any workshop or any sort of learning that you have enrolled for? Raise your hand. Okay. Oh, a lot of you. Thank you so much. Brilliant. And the next question is, how many of you are really able to put that across to your work or maybe at life at large? Okay. That's good. So, of course, the numbers are reduced. It means a lot. It gives us the message. And Ankit, Allwyn, Naveen, we are in the same circuit, and the circuit is small and round. We have been talking about this elephant for a very, very long time. Yet, I think even in the next ETHR also we'll be talking about the same thing. So the elephant here is not that we don't know. And the problem that we are solving is not about not knowing the problem or not knowing the answer. Problem is not able to do what we already know. Right? How many of you think that learning causes performance? Show up. Okay, learning causes performance. Fantastic. Otherwise, you don't think learning causes performance. Wow. Then what are we doing then? Yes, partially agree, because learning can only bring awareness, and awareness can lead to possibility of behavioral change. And if you keep repeating the same behavior over time, you form habit, and if you are able to form habit, it may lead to some business performance. It's not a very straightforward equation. And now the question, I'll come back to your question, is that where is it breaking? I think it does not break in one place, it breaks at multiple places. The first of all, there is an intention behavior gap. All of you have enrolled in that course or learning workshop, etc., with the right intent, whether it is self-funded or it is sponsored by your organization. There is no problem with your intention. But when you come back, what happens? When we come back, we are not really able to apply that. Even if we start applying, we take one action, it decays over time. So there lies the behavior habit gap. And we are holding our L&D team responsible for results, while L&D team is responsible only for learning. The behavior change is actually accountability goes to the line managers and the leadership and the culture. And as you said rightly, where is the elephant? And we are simply trying to address the symptoms by putting a band-aid, but not by addressing the system. It's never a learning challenge. I don't think any of our organization has got a learning challenge. It's always a system challenge. And we are keeping ourselves away from the system. We are not diagnosing the system. And thereby, we are also feeling happy. And why is it not fixed? I think one of the thing, and I was asking this to Abhik. Abhik said, you are not a politician, you can go candid. I can be bold, as long as you keep things inside this room. Is that we as L&D team, we feel happy when people reach out to us and, "Arey yaar, kuch program kar do yaar." And "Arey yaar, kuch program kar do," usme koi galat nahi hai, but we feel happy. We take that as the dopamine dose, and we keep running programs. While the challenge is reinforcement, we are trying to solve reinforcement challenge by giving more and more learning. And we feel happy. What we are not doing possibly is the hard work of diagnosing the system. What are the broken pieces in the system? And this is really boring. It's not easy, because repetition and doing the things which does not have visibility, or which does not have the spotlight, it's not easy. And all these years you have been talking about learning hours. My God, it's a vanity. It's an expensive vanity to measure the learning hours or the completion, because 98% completion can be dangerous. It can give a wrong signal to the CEO saying that the job is done, while there is nothing on the floor. No change has happened on the floor. Who will do this? I think the accountability is shared. You and me, along with the line managers, along with the leadership team, has to take the accountability. So I will keep the line managers. I think morning, if you were attending the first panel, Vinita was sharing how line managers are playing a very important role in the entire circle. Is, I would say, the line managers, we are not equipping them to identify what are the changes they are able to see on the floor. Noticing those changes and reinforcing those changes. As L&D team, I think this is one of the key things that we can do. We must do. Thank you.
I think we heard some great thoughts around this, and the truth is, yes, there is a problem, there's an elephant in the room, but we're getting better. I think with every passing year, like he said, next year also this topic would be there, but I'm sure you would hear more stories which will be, more positive stories around this. So while it continues to be a thing which is broken and we are getting better, my own view in this is, I believe there are three areas where we miss the bus. The first one is, the handoffs between learning and the work environment. People go for very elaborate, expensive courses. When they come back, the environment doesn't support their learning. The environment doesn't support their application on the job. that's where the learning over a period of some time fades. And after a while, the question comes back to the L&OD team, well, you did this program, you invested so much money, but what's the outcome? So I think that's one important key, that unless we provide the application as a systemic change in the organization, it won't help. Second is, the point he mentioned is manager accountability. People would nominate their teams, their colleagues for learning, but after they come back from learning, the first feeling is, okay, you were out for a week or whatever time frame. There's a lot of work pending, so focus on that rather than discussing, how you can apply those. So managers' reinforcement, managers' confidence, managers' input to that is very, very critical. And the third one is, what metrics are you actually measuring for the learning outcome? So I think that's the third point where it gets broke. I like that statement, and I received those statements, and it does give me a little dopamine, when say, chalo kuch program karte hain. When a senior leader comes and calls you and she says, मेरे को अपनी टीम में ये प्रॉब्लम है, मेरे को ये प्रोग्राम करना है. So while I get excited, I'm also very mindful of, for example, you'll receive एक Excel का प्रोग्राम कर दो, collaboration का प्रोग्राम कर दो, influencing का प्रोग्राम कर दो. These are common, I'm sure. My question is, what is the problem are we solving for? That leads to deeper discussions. To organize a program on collaboration, a 1-day, 2-day workshop, 2-day, you call any trainer, that there are like tons of trainers available in the market space. Depending upon what pedigree you want, you pay, you will get the person. But is it helpful? Will it solve your problem? Unless you go deeper and ask those questions, what problem are you solving for? Tell me instances where you feel your people are not collaborating. So we convert them into cases. So that's the hard work, the word he mentioned, hard work. That's the hard work that you have to put in to make sure that whenever you're designing a learning program, it should align with the business objective. And I'm very particular, at least in my case, I don't do any program unless I have these conversations, unless I get answers to these questions, even if at the risk of listening that you guys don't do any work. We have requested you something, but you don't answer my questions. So with that, we'll move to the next part of it. So moving forward, Ankit, I have a very specific question for you. We have talked about capability over completion. What are organizations still measuring that looks like progress but has no real link to performance? Why do these metrics survive despite everyone knowing that these are flawed? And we've been discussing about metrics a lot. Yeah. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think partly it got answered. Organizations are measuring attendance, adoption, penetration, participation, subscription, enrollments, knowledge checks, quizzes, certificates, etc. And that's just overdose of analytics. They're measuring how many people did what at what point of time, percentage completion of journeys. For me, this goes back to the first point I said, that why are they measuring this? Kuch to dikhana hai na. You have to showcase something. The problem is because when somebody asked you, should we invest in LXP, LMS, learning platforms, our answer was yes. Why? बढ़िया है, सब कर रहे हैं, लोग मांग रहे हैं. At that point of a time, like a founder, we didn't think, what is the ROI? Like for example, I haven't implemented LXP. Okay, if there are any partners here, no offense, don't pitch it to me. Because I think it's waste. Because I also think that people are as good as the maturity cycles in an organization. So I don't invest. When they pitch, it said that मेरे को समझ में ही नहीं आता है. So वो बेचारा अपनी जीवन में expense portal, time sheet, travel reimbursement, LMS management में उलझा हुआ है, उसके ऊपर तुम you put one more golden elephant in the room. So you see, it makes no sense. So either be sharp and take the call, this is not for us. It might be excellent, it might be glamorous, it might be very expensive, and it might be a great tech, but it's not for us. We are not there at the people maturity curve. All right. But we're not having that conversation. So we buy stuff, we purchase stuff, we dump stuff. And when we dump stuff at the end of the year, 18-month cycle, 24-month cycle, when an enterprise license requires an update, somebody will ask you who's running a cost optimization project, ki hua kya hai isse? To then people get into this panic and anxiety mode. Nikalo data. Banao data. Chat GPT ko de do data. And Chat GPT is fantastic, no? कुछ भी बना के दे देगा आपको अच्छा लगे. The illusion of fullness and control is sometimes our problem because दिखाना तो पड़ता है. Do you guys agree with me? Great. You have a question? No, why save it for later? आप ही के लिए तो आए हैं.
Yeah, you can ask now, yeah.
Well, I actually only partly agree with you. I don't fully agree with you. Yes, there is a part where you say, we measure what we can measure, right? I'm not an L&D professional. I'm an HR professional. L&D has always been part of my profile. But we can measure attendance, we can measure subscriptions, we can measure, all that we can measure. I hear you when you say that that's the, you're saying that that's the optics, right? What in your view, which is not very tangible, can be measured? How do we do that? I know that's the elephant in the room. That's what we're all here to figure out. So I would like to know, your view on how to measure the intangible, and also what's wrong in measuring what can be measured. Because unless you measure, right, it's like, okay, unless I have 100 students in the school, there is at least little chance that there's some learning being taken away. But if I don't even measure that, then the chances are little of having any effectiveness.
Can I answer this, or should we?
Yeah, please.
Whatever you decide.
No, you can take that question.
Thank you. Yeah. So there is nothing wrong in measuring what can be measured without the awareness of why it is being measured. That's where the problem is. आपको जो measure करना है करो. It does not matter. But does it contribute some value to people who will consume this? You see, if you consider this in the parlance of a founder trying to raise funds for a tech platform, investor को क्या सुनना है? That defines and decides my analytics. Investor को ये थोड़ी सुनना है कि आपके प्लेटफॉर्म पे कितने सर्टिफिकेट्स हैं. नहीं. Investor को ये सुनना है that how many subscriptions. Then that becomes your focus area, or like you say, a KPI. So measurement which has no value to people is a problem. If somebody ultimately has to debate with you कि इस enterprise license को cancel करो because this is not measurement, I don't see the impact anywhere, तो करोगे ही ना. तो measurement गया. All right. That's the first part of the question. The second part of the question is the problem in what you're saying essentially was, देखो, we have to do less, do minimal. We spread ourselves too thin because L&D को काम चाहिए, program चाहिए. There's nothing wrong in that. But while we do that, we forget one important element of our jobs, which is having difficult conversations around what must be measured, what need not be measured, what cannot be measured, and how much time will it take to invest in bringing an intangible to the surface. So it's very easy to say कि हम intangibles को कैसे measure करें. You will have lead indicators, आपकी GPTW service, people service, culture data. You will have many other sentiments. But do you have the skill to hold the conversation that don't be in this capitalistic greed to measure something that is so intangible? Wait for it. We suck at that. We don't address that elephant. Why? Because सामने वाला बोल देगा मत करो फिर. And then you know where the problem ends. मेरे को promote होना है अगले साल. I need a good rating, so I must have some work. Sometimes the absence of learning and showing that to people is more important than proving what the presence can do to you. And that's a tough one. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. I think it's a very interesting conversation. It can go for long. I would just add, he talked about a platform. So last year, we were re-evaluating after 3 years of being with a learning partner, and we chose LinkedIn as our online platform. And the first question, or the first was, what's adoption? Now, adoption is easy to find, you can easily track adoption. But to me, adoption is an indication of culture, learning culture in the organization. How many people are really coming to the platform to learn something new and take back and apply in their workplace? You can't measure that, you can't track that, how much, but at least the adoption tells me that people are coming to the platform, they are seeing value in that. And to me, it's an indication of culture. And of course, then you can build on it and a lot more, features you can add to it. With that, I'll move to Allwyn, and at a global scale, Allwyn, this challenge becomes even more complex. How do you connect learning investments to business outcomes in a way that leadership actually trusts?
Thank you for the question, and thank you for that lovely question too. So when I was told, we need to work on, effectiveness of learning, I said, first let me get educated myself. So I went and did that Kirkpatrick, bronze, silver, gold. Uske upar nahi hai, that's the last one. Then I did all of that. Then I tried many things, like my friend said. We thought of, I wanted to launch an LXP. My CHRO said, you launch something on SharePoint first, make it work, then I'll give you money. I launched it. Some of you made it work. We got the money. We have Degreed as our LXP partner. And, coming to the precise thing that you were asking, right? I think we realize one thing. If we keep on training, certifying people, but we keep on hiring from the market, then what's the point of doing all this? It's either buy or it's build. There is nothing else. So if you're putting so much money on build, and we roughly put around 4 million, by the way, a year as a company, we have to be able to say that majority of the talent we're able to hire from within. I'm not saying we don't bring in diversity from the market. We need that. But there are certain roles where contextual understanding can be beautiful, right? So we put in a process. It is not easy for you to hire from outside. You'll ask me how. So we had to even change our talent central platform, where every employee, each one of us can go there, and it shows you 2 career options. The next vertical career option, the next lateral career option, okay? Choose any one of them. It'll quickly tell you what are the skills gaps that are there. You'll say, Allwyn, but how can that skill gap be accurate? It's not accurate. It's guesstimating. It allows you to select, I agree, this is a skill gap, this is a skill gap, this is a skill gap. I agree, and I submit it. We work with Spire, company called Spire, S-P-I-R-E. Startups are very flexible, unlike big guys. So this data regarding my aspiration, this is my aspiration, right? Lateral or vertical. This data is stored, that this is my aspiration. Other than that, all of us, sometimes or the other, apply for IJP, internal job posting, correct? If you're applying, what does that mean? That's one of your aspirations, no? People were missing this fact. I have so much data on aspirations. We take that data also. The next day when you come to work, that data goes to my Degreed platform. It then searches for the best content available across LinkedIn, Coursera, Techacademy. I have the works. And I keep changing the licenses depending on how well and what values it's creating. But I give a bouquet, but it's behind. The LXP creates a central version for me. So the learning starts at the recommendation. I had thought of becoming CHRO. All CHRO related content is coming. Just giving you an example. Okay. But this is how we started making a platform meaningful. And then we started presenting, every month, how many aspirations we have fulfilled. Means how many people who had aspired to be ABC, they got that. And the process was put, whenever you as a manager, you create a job request in your company, right? Then what happens? After a few days, you get an invite. Then they say, we'll do an analysis of your hiring. Then they will send you some resumes, correct? And then you will select some and you start interviewing. We've gone ahead of that. The moment you create a job request, it immediately tells you 10 people in the company who have finished 18 months and are ready to be hired. Dekho, look at your talent from inside. Such lovely, amazing people are there, and they can start performing the next day. First look within, and therefore we've reached 65% hiring from within last year. That got us the, the gold at Brandon, etc., etc. But I'm not so worried about the gold. I'm worried about the gold that I created by 65% people, 65% job opportunities within. They got to grow. And when they get to grow, they go and tell their friends, they go and tell the community, they go and tell their families. And we already have the Tata brand with us, so that already helps us. And if you've not seen the Titan series that's come out, please go and watch it. It'll be very inspiring to watch. We have that amazing legacy and culture. So all of this put together, one, ensuring that the strategy is hiring from within, and show managers the talent which is there inside because they can't see, right? Showcase aspirations getting completed, right? Don't worry about identifying or creating through ChatGPT something. Don't do something. They are more intelligent than you, the business guys, right? But nobody can argue with you that you were able to create aspirations come to life. And employees will start loving you, right? Obviously, because they can see that you're doing everything for us to grow in the company. And that's why we come to the company every day, because we want to grow. Is there anyone here who don't want to grow? Raise your hand. Not a single one. Everybody wants to grow. So once you fix this is something that we are still working on. You've not got it right completely. I'm at 65. My aim is to get to at least 75% hiring from within. Not for the sake of hiring from within. Real good talent hired from within. I think that's how we're taking the story ahead. I hope I was able to give some insights to take forward.
I think that was very profound. And typically companies look at 70-30 ratio. 70 within, 30 outside. And typically outside is one diversity, the other is what the skills you don't have. So typically you go outside. But if you have that program like that, where your internal talent is able to show up, you can meet a lot of aspiration internally. You know how much is the difference between hiring outside, and promoting internally. So my next question to Satadal, in a high volume, fast moving business, how do you ensure learning translates into consistent frontline performance and not just one-time improvement?
Okay. But can I express my disagreement to Ankit? So, भाई साहब, ChatGPT नहीं है हमारे पास Claude है. All right, and
Tomato.
And Allwyn, what a brilliant example of your LXP. I think brilliant model. I will definitely connect with you to understand more. I don't have an LXP. I definitely have an LMS. No, not the LMS that you are understanding. To answer your question, Naveen, the LMS that I truly rely on is the faith and the philosophy and the belief that my line managers are the most important technology in the entire system. And they are my LMS, learning management system. Right? And in order to sustain behavior change or the performance matrices, I think one of the most important parameter is stop relying on events. Ye training kar do. Right? So stop relying on these events. Event does not yield anything except for those adrenaline and the dopamine. You only feel happy. Right? It does not serve anyone. Rather, I rely on journey programs. For the past 2.5 years, we have been continuously running journey programs. And one more important thing, as a psychodrama practitioner, I also try to work with the leadership team, and I do a lot of process work, try to understand what is beneath. Because behavior change is not easy. You need to really work on the belief system beneath the behavior. So as a psychodramatist, I also bring in the elements, what is beneath, and try to make invisible visible. Right? And that's possible only when you bring all these people together under one roof and get them to talk. Number one is relying on your people managers, because they are your most important technology. They are your LMS. Number 2 is that believe on the long-term journey programs. Number 3 is that build that curiosity. Today, we also use Coursera and LinkedIn Learning, etc. They are fantastic platform. But the challenge is, I tried to push learning to my employees. I failed, miserably failed. And I tried something new. It worked. Is to be able to build a culture of curiosity. Yeah, I'll just 30 more seconds. The build, so while we were building, we are still building the culture of curiosity. Today, organic way of completing a learning course is 70% compared to 30% of completing the assigned learning. Meaning, people are going to the platform, picking up a course they want to do, because unless if people are invested, if people are showing interest, they will not complete it, and they will not. If they are not completing it, they will not bring this behavioral change. And in order to bring that behavioral change, we need to equip our managers what to notice, how to reinforce.
Thanks. I know time is up, but can we take 2 more minutes? Okay, let me just close this discussion. I think learning journeys are more valuable to the organization, because it helps. One, the design aspect, because you're having an objective to design a learning journey for. 2, at Sun Pharma, what we have done is we are preparing our leaders for future roles which probably we do not know how it shapes up. What will be the conditions, what is the scenario, situations. So all our learning journeys include case studies and simulations. Now, business simulations help them understand and actually be playing the game, in a simulated environment to face the future challenges. Yesterday, I was in Bangalore International Airport, and we had a visit to that airport, and they showed us the fire. If there's a fire in the aircraft once it lands, how are they prepared for that? Well, what was surprising, 24/7, the person sits inside the fire tender. He's not in the outside. He sits in the fire tender. If anything happens, he can just move around. 2, they have simulators, which actually converts the real life scenario into simulation, and they know how to take care of that. They gave a demonstration which was amazing, and actually tells you that it's very safe to travel in an aircraft. Even if it lands and it has an incident, how quickly can they take care of that. I think in the interest of time, we have to close. We had a few rapid fire, but you are not allowing us a couple of more minutes? Okay. Okay, so with that, thank you so much, gentlemen. I think it was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for your wisdom. And if you have any questions or any further conversation that you want to have, they are all available outside during lunch breaks or any other time. Thank you so much.